Today we are going to understand chapter 14. Okay. So chapter 13 to 14. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Let me see if I can. Can you see it now? Let me know when I change screen. Does it change? Is it changing? The slide is changing.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So we're going to first understand in chapter 13 what Krishna explained and how the flow is there where we are moving to chapter 14. So in chapter 13, he was explaining how the living entity, that is the jiva, the purusha, is entangled in the material nature, which is prakriti. And we learned about Kshetra, Kshetragya. I hope you remember all that. And why is the Purusha or Jiva entangled in this jail of material nature of Prakriti, and we're not free to travel all over the universe like a free soul which is not locked in the body all over the entire universe. We're not free to do that, whereas we are locked inside this earth, inside this body, our jiva. Why? It is because of, can Ritika read and tell me, look at this first bullet point and tell me why is it that we are locked in this body on this earth, and we are enmeshed or entangled in this prakriti. Why is it so? Due to
Three modes of nature.
we are look at the line, the last three words of the first bullet point, Ritika.
Yes. Three modes of material nature.
We are entangled. No. The chapter 3 explains how Purusha is entangled in material nature due to his first bullet point, the black color. Maithili is also joining.
Desire for enjoyment.
Yes, that's right.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Maithili. So good to see you. So today we are learning something which is, I don't know how many of you have heard of these three modes of nature, but in chapter 13, we learned that the jiva is entangled or locked in this prakriti, and we are inside this body. Why? Because we had a desire for enjoyment separate from the Lord of the universe. That is why we are locked here. And in chapter 14, Krishna is telling us what are the three modes of this nature. This nature is, everything in this material world is made up of three modes or three gunas. Modes and gunas, they are synonyms. Okay. How do these modes work? And how do these three modes, they bind the jiva? Our soul or jivatma is bound by the material nature. And how can we destroy this bondage? How can we destroy this chain and become free? By using Krishna Bhakti, which is the only solution. When you are in love, and have complete devotion to the Lord of this whole universe, Krishna, then you can become free from this bondage of the three modes of material nature. Okay, so try to understand what Krishna is saying in the Gita. The three modes, he tells us how and to what extent does it bind us, and the modes and its impact on our death also, based on which guna we are in. When we die also, what will happen after that is based on that. Is there a way to overcome the modes? Yes, it is through Krishna Bhakti, which is only way. Okay, so keep your doubts in a pencil, and you can you can note it in a notebook, and then you can come back and ask. And we had also learned in the last class, remember I told you I'll tell you the story of Dhanurdas. So let's look at quickly at the story of Dhanurdas also, when I was explaining about Jnana Chakshu. When you really understand the Gita, what is the essence of the Gita, and then the way you look at the whole world will change, because you're going to look at the world around you through a Jnana Chakshu. Okay, Jnana Chakshu. So while you gain knowledge about the super soul, about the body, about the material nature, and then you have control over your mind and senses. Now, Dhanurdas, the story is, he used to be very much in love of his beautiful wife. Okay, loved her eyes so much. He didn't want anybody to see her, and he all the time wanted to look at her. So once they were going to the temple, and on the way it was hot sunny day, he's holding the umbrella, as you can see in the picture below. He's holding the umbrella for her, and he's walking backwards because he's so protective of her, and he doesn't want to stop looking at her beautiful eyes at all. At that time, Ramanujacharya, he saw this man walking backwards, and he asked him, "Why are you walking backwards?" And then he said, "My wife's eyes are so beautiful, I can't stop looking at it." And then Ramanujacharya felt that if this much of passion he had towards the Lord, he would be such a high devotee, and he would be free from this material world of pains. And then he says, "You know what? I'll give you a challenge. Go inside the temple and look closely at the eyes of the deity." And if anybody sees the eyes of the deity, you may not find it so special. But that day, with Raman, that's the association of devotees. The power of association of pure devotees is very high. Because he had the association of such a pure devotee as Ramanujacharya, when he obeyed, he said, "Okay, really? If the deity's eyes are going to be that beautiful, and it is a more beautiful than my wife's eyes, then I'll just surrender to that God." And he goes and he looks at the eyes, and he was awestruck. Tears were flowing continuously in his eyes as he kept on looking at the deity's eyes. And that was the power of the pure devotee. And from then on, Dhanurdas actually becomes a very great devotee. You can read up more on this story. So I had promised last class that I will tell you this story. And I hope you like the story. It's about the heart with which you see the deity. The deity it's just an idol usually. If you see any statue, it's just an idol. That's called idol. Difference between idol and deity is when you look at an idol, it's just a statue. The moment you look at it as it's God, in your heart, you believe this is my God, and you look at it with that eye, and with if the circumstances are right because of your karmas, now it is the time for you to take to bhakti. That idol will turn into a deity for you. And God manifests himself through his deities, through his name. That's why we say chanting is so powerful. The God himself manifests himself through the scriptures. That's why we say Gita and Bhagavatam. These are actually the incarnation of God in the form of literature. Okay, so if we talk about God, it's never ending. So let's move on and understand chapter 14. 3 modes of material nature. Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga. Okay. Am I audible? Arav,
Yes.
please stay in the meeting till
Yes, ma'am.
I didn't hear Arav. Arav, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Hare Krishna.
Mama, I was there
Okay.
from the starting.
So look at this 3 modes of material nature. We are going to understand from verses 1 to 9 about what are the 3 modes. There is a race for prominence between these 3 modes. That is what, the sattva mode and the rajas and tamas. These are the 3 modes. Sattva, rajas, tamas. And they are always having a race. You can see the 3 ladies there. Those are the 3 modes, and our hands and legs are tied to these 3 modes. Each one wants to have a dominance over us. Okay, and what are the types of actions we will do based on which mode we are going to follow? And what is a pure life when you become a devotee, how the modes become powerless. All right, so that is what we are going to see in this chapter. Let's once more look at the overview. So as you can see in these pictures, what is conditioning of the soul? So what is the meaning of conditioning? If any of you have learned what is conditioning, you would know that it is a kind of practice behavior. We are doing all these actions because of the habits of many births, and our desires and our pending karmas. It's making us do things. So we are conditioned. And what is the effect of it? We do all kind of either sattva related actions, or rajas where we are very ambitious, rajas related actions, or tamas where we are ignorant and we want to forget the world, and when we don't want to do our duties. That is in the tamogun. So those are the 3 modes when we are in their effect. how do we transcend or go above these modes which are binding us? So Maya is a kind of force. Can I have Arya read what is about Maya in blue written below? Arya?
Yes, ma'am. Maya is a kind of force that makes you feel what is not true. It's like basically a Sato, a Rajo, and Tamoguna. It's existing in three stages: Sattva Guna, little Maya; Rajaguna, more Maya; Tamoguna, totally in Maya.
Yeah, Maya is like a cloud which covers us, okay, and it is like keeping us ignorant from the truth that we are a jiva, that we are actually, our duty is to serve the Paramatma so that we achieve freedom, and we are trapped here because of desires. Understanding of all these, I'm speaking it in words, but really understanding it by thinking about the teachings of Gita, that will make your effect of Maya less and less on you. So if you are in Sattvagun, then the Maya's effect is less. If you're in Rajogun, where you're running after the carrot, the donkey and carrot story, you want something, you run after it, It's like donkey has a stick is there with a carrot hanging, and he's running and running behind it, and it's never ending race. You get something, then you want something more, and that is Rajogun. You're trapped in more Maya. Tamogun is you're totally in ignorance. Those are usually the atheistic people. They are totally blind. The reality, the spiritual reality of the essence of who they are is totally missed. They don't even want to know. They are blind, completely ignorant. They'll be drinking, smoking, or they'll be, not doing their duties. Just they'll keep their surroundings dirty. So those are, and they are totally in Maya. They don't want to open their eyes and see the spiritual reality of who they really are. Okay, so that's it. So who are now there are these 9 stages which are spoken about in this chapter. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, again I shall declare to you the supreme wisdom, the best. Yeah, this is actually verse 1 of chapter 14, where Krishna himself says, I'm going to again tell you about the best of all knowledge, knowing which all the sages have attained supreme perfection. So here there are some pictures of some sages who exist in this universe. There are 9 sages who are famous for having knowledge and supreme wisdom. Okay, and these 9 sages are Kavi, Havi, Antariksha, Prabuddha, Pipalayana, Avirhotra, Dravida, Chavasa, and Karabhajana. So these are from the scriptures, and they are the Nava Yogendras. They came on the request of King Nimi, and he asked them questions about how can we know incarnations, and they have predicted the appearance of Chaitanya in Kali Yuga. So Krishna comes once more as Chaitanya in Kali Yuga to teach us about the importance of Nam Japa. Okay, if you say the name of the Lord, he actually is there in his name. So these are some other scriptures. Why am I talking about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu today? That's because we are chanting for the past few days, and I think some of you don't understand why Pravina ma'am is making all of us listen to this chanting. Listening to this chanting or chanting is very powerful. Who said so? I think once Ritika had asked me, who said that the chanting of this Hare Krishna and who made it? Right? So I think Ritika had asked me. And I had explained that there is this person called Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who not very many years ago, if you can Google and read about him, the scriptures point out that he is Krishna's incarnation. There is a prediction in Srimad Bhagavatam also in 11th chapter, 11th canto, 5th chapter, 32nd verse, that in the age of Kali, can Arav read this prediction in the Srimad Bhagavatam of appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Arav, in the age of Kali? Arav, can you read that? Arav, you're unmute or muted or you're unmute, but I can't hear you. Hello, Arav? Okay, Anushka, can you read it? Can you read this these lines about age of Kali?
Yes, ma'am. In the age of Kali, intelligent person performs congregational chanting to the worships the incarnation of Godhead who constantly signs the names of Krishna,
Sings and
although His complexion is not blackish. He is Karma, Krishna himself. It is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companies.
Companions, yes. So he comes in this world and he teaches the world how, chanting in groups. That's called congregational chanting, where you chant in groups. Ritika had been to an ISKCON temple, no? Did everybody go from the tour, or only you went with family, Ritika?
We went from the tour.
In the tour itself you had been. So if you stay in the ISKCON, you will find that they form groups and they chant at different times of the day. And this group chanting was also proposed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chant and chant in a group, you go in a trance. And then, you slowly, the love of Krishna will develop when you start chanting. It's not easy. It comes to a lot of practice. So who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? This is a picture. He is not dark like Krishna. In fact, his body is, they say he was golden because he was resplendent. He had a shine and he was very fair. And this is the picture, and he was the one who started this Nam Sankirtana movement. Prahlad Maharaj, he also spoke about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In 7th canto, there's a hidden nature of Supreme Lord's appearance in Kali Yuga. He also speaks about appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. These are predictions. In the Garuda Puran also it is mentioned that Krishna is going to come again as a son of Sachi in Navadvip Mayapur. Such a perfect prediction. He says that I will come in my complete spiritual form in the first part of Kali Yuga. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is highly revered. Those who understand spiritual teachings, they give a lot of value to his teaching. In the first part of Kali Yuga, also in Garuda Puran, it is said that Supreme Personality of Godhead will come in gold-like form. First, he will become the husband of Lakshmi. Then he will become a sannyasi near Lord Jagannath, who will appear in a divine wooden form. Those of you who have gone to see Jagannath, who have gone to Puri, I think Arav had gone, no, to Puri. Who all have gone to Puri?
ma'am.
You haven't gone. If someone has gone, I think so, one of you in the group. So Jagannath is also, the form of Krishna, and Krishna, Subhadra, and Balram, all three are there. So this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he goes and he serves the wooden form of Lord Jagannath in Puri. And the description is given in Garud Puran, and it is predicted there also. So these are all about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance in different scriptures. It was already mentioned. And let's come to 14.1. So like I told you, children, in the first verse, Krishna is saying, again, Arjuna, I'm going to give you some supreme wisdom, knowing which these sages have attained supreme perfection. Can somebody read the second one? Maithili, can you read the English meaning of the second verse of 14th chapter? Maithili? By becoming. Maithili, are you there? Hello, Maithili. Okay, Misha, you could read. Misha, yeah. Read this meaning of.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
By becoming fixed in this knowledge, one can attain to the transcendental nature, which is like my own nature, thus is established. One is not born at the time of creation or disturbed at the time of dissolution.
Yes. So once you understand this knowledge, which Krishna is going to give in chapter 14, and you're established. Established means pakka, your foundation is strong. You understand this knowledge very clearly. then such a Jivatma will not be born at the time of creation and again, go through dissolution and again, because desires are left, you will again take birth. So you'll become into a free, you'll become independent and free, and you'll be with Krishna because you're in the knowledge of, you have the true knowledge. You don't need to come back because you're not entrapped by Maya. Children, as you're listening to these terms, try to understand something and think about these. Okay. Now, in the 13th, in the third verse, Krishna says that this total material substance called Brahman is the source of birth. And it is that Brahman that I impregnate, making possible the birth of all living beings, O son of Bharata. So here Krishna is saying that, he's actually saying that he is the father of the entire material nature, because he is the person who gives life by impregnating the entire material nature. Okay, so this is a bit difficult for anyone to understand. It requires a lot of reading of scriptures to be clear about what Krishna is saying here. So did we evolve, or are we created by the Lord? This is a question. Like in science, there are many theories by Darwin and such people who say that we are evolved from the lower species, and we are evolved, but not the way science is propagating. According to the religion, there is all these evolution and all does happen, but the soul travels based on its karmas and its gunas. So this understanding comes only when you get spiritual enlightenment. Only then you understand the traveling of the soul from one body to another. So since science is not able to understand the soul and is not discovered the soul itself, it will not be able to understand. The spiritual knowledge cannot come to a person who goes only by studying the material world, right? Because you cannot perceive the spirit through your senses. The senses cannot see the spiritual world. You cannot see it. You need special eyes for that. Maitri, are you traveling? Where are you sitting?
Ma'am, I'm not traveling.
Okay. Right. So the 14th verse says that the fourth verse says that it should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, that is Arjuna, are made possible by birth in this material nature, because I am the seed-giving father. So Krishna says that I am the ultimate father. So actually, in fact, he's the father, mother, and everything is Krishna, because even material nature comes from Krishna himself. There's nothing which is not Krishna. Okay, so he is a seed-giving father. Then he says that in the fourth verse, it should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible. Yeah, this is what we just finished. Sorry. What is the purpose? Why has God created this material world? Why did the Lord create? Can anybody think and tell me why did this material nature be created by the Lord? Anybody would like to make a guess, or you want to share something upon this? There are film songs also which go Duniya banane wale kahe ko duniya banaya. Yes, Ritika?
God made the three modes of nature to test us, question us, and to filter who are the pure devotees and who are not.
Okay. Anybody else? Yes, Ritika, that's a nice way of looking at it. Anybody else would like to share something on this question? Arya, Maithili, why did God create this world? And God says in the Gita that this material world is actually, it is like a prison house. He is telling us that this material world, there is misery in this world. See, the world is depicted as a jail, and we are all jailers. We are actually imprisoned inside this body. It's like a prison house. It's meant for some sort of punishment. It looks like that. And Krishna says that this material world is dukhalayam, ashashvatam, and it's temporary. It is not permanent. Ashashvata means temporary. And we, the jivas, we are bound in this material world. Why is that so? Like I told you, it's because of desires, okay? And this material nature consists of three modes: sattva, rajas, and tamo, goodness. What is goodness? It's a sattva gun. Sattva gun is called goodness. Rajo gun is passion. When you have very strong desires for material pleasures. And tamo gun is ignorance, where you're mostly depressed or you're complaining or you don't want to see the truth. So when the living entity comes in contact with nature, he becomes conditioned by these three modes. The material nature consists of these three modes, and we are tied up by these modes. How do these modes affect us? Let's see. Okay, what are the qualities of a person who is in Sattva Gun? I want you all to listen carefully and try and understand these three modes. And then, you will be able to identify. If you really think about it, Nisha, are you understanding? Listen carefully. As you're doing,
Yes, ma'am.
in the morning till night, the things you do, you will be able to understand what am I doing in Sattva Gun, what is my action in Tamo Gun, and what is my action in Rajo Gun. For example, you have an exam and you should be studying. You wash yourself, you sit down to study. That time you're doing your duty. And if you're doing it only because you want to get better marks than a friend, that becomes Rajo Gun. If you're doing it because you want to please Krishna, this is the duty you have given me. I'm born in this family. I am studying and I offer whatever I'm doing to you. I don't mind the result. And you're having a pure heart, just studying. And I'm thinking of Krishna and offering it to him. That is Sattva Gun. Sattva Gun, and then Rajo Gun is when you're doing it with passion. Tamo Gun is when you just close the book, you say you sleep, abhi nahi padna hai mujhe, and you go and enjoy, you sit and watch TV when you should be studying for tomorrow's exam. So those are, as you all are students, I'm giving you an example. And every moment you'll feel, and as you finish the chapter 14 to 18, you will understand very clearly every moment of your life, every action, when you are, the Sattva Gun is having an effect on you, when is Tamo Gun having, and when is Rajo Gun happening, you'll be so clear. And when you understand this very well, you will be able to rise above all three. Even Sattva Gun, don't think that Sattva Gun is, you're free. It is the best among the three. But if you understand all three, you will rise above them, above all three. Where you can see that, it's like metacognition. So we are now discussing what are the qualities of somebody who is in the Sattva Gun. Try and remember these qualities, all of you. First of all, such a person you will always see them peaceful and happy. Try to think of the people in your life who are usually peaceful, they are happy, and they will be very active, but they will also be proud that they are good and they have knowledge of goodness. They will be calm, they'll be very creative, and they'll be able to find solutions. When there's a problem, they will be able to come up with solutions rather than grumbling and complaining about the problem. That is Sattva Gun, people in Sattva Gun. They will be usually Brahmanas or, teachers, philosophers, scientists. And why does material nature bind them? Why are they not free? That's because they have a sense of advanced happiness. They feel, oh, I am a good person and I am very happy. I can help people. They are proud of their goodness. They are proud of their knowledge. And that pride in being good actually keeps them again in the same cycle. They will have higher births and they will enjoy higher, happinesses because they're not doing anything bad. They're doing good deeds. But they are also bound because of the sense of superiority. It's difficult. Children, you will find out, every minute of your life, it's very difficult to be humble. Even when you feel I'm good, already in your mind, oh my God, I'm being proud that I'm good. So actually monitoring your state of mind and being humble is very tough. And I know this attitude also keeps on coming. I'm sure you will all be able to understand and think of when you have felt like that, or you will notice in other people, they must be very good. But then you will see that they're proud that they're good. They're proud of their goodness, proud of their knowledge, proud of their being peaceful and happy. So even someone in Sattva Gun, they are peaceful, they are happy, they are calm, they give us, solutions to answers, but they will be proud. They will not be able to be humble, because of which true knowledge is not easy to come. All of you understood Sattva Gun? I want you to remember, I'll ask some of you at the end of the class, what do you understand by Sattva Gun? They are peaceful, they are happy, they are calm, they give creative solutions, but they are proud that they are good. Okay, and it comes by itself. Sometimes they will feel humble when they're truly pure at heart, but otherwise it's difficult to stay humble. Okay, so here actually there is a play, I want to show you this play. This is a drama. It's very interesting. I'll show you in the next meeting. I'll play this drama for you, which was done, I think in UK or somewhere. One of the Western countries, many ISKCON temples were there because of Prabhupada's effect. And they did a drama about Sattvagun, Rajogun, and Tamogun. Would you like to see the drama? I won't show you completely, but we'll watch here and there together.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay?
Yes, ma'am. Please show.
So I'm stopping the meeting and then I'll show you the drama. In the Ritika also says yes. I'll show you the drama about Sattvagun, Rajogun, and Tamogun in the next meeting. Please join again. I am stopping this this share and we'll watch this drama now. Join again, okay?